All right, now with the MOUs and the sponsor recognition behind us, we now come to an important presentation. This is on Saudi Arabia's evolving legal landscape, and it's going to be delivered by Dr. Fari's Al-Qarni. He is the Assistant Deputy Minister for Regulations Development, the Ministry of Investment for Saudi Arabia. Let's give him a warm welcome.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. بداية نشكر الزملاء في المركز السعودي للتحكيم التجاري على إتاحة الفرصة للحديث حول المنظومة التشريعية في المملكة وارتباطها بالاستثمار الأجنبي. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Minister of Investment, I want to thank the Saudi Center for Commercial Arbitration for this great week of dispute resolution. It's my pleasure to welcome you to this presentation on the evolving legal landscape in Saudi Arabia and its impact on investment. The regulatory environment plays a fundamental role in shaping a country's economic competitiveness. Saudi Arabia is undergoing a significant transformation to enhance its attractiveness to the investors. Today, we will explore how the kingdom is modernizing its laws, simplifying regulatory framework, and implementing new policies to create a more transparent, predictable, and investor-friendly business environment. We will also discuss how these reforms align with the Vision 2030 and the National Investment Strategy, ensuring that Saudi Arabia remains a premier destination for global investors. As you can see in the screen, that a strong and predictable legal environment influences the investor's decision to enter and expand to a market. Regulatory certainty reduces the risk and enhances the investor's confidence. The countries with clear, well-enforced laws attract higher quality investment, leading to long-term economic growth. Saudi Arabia is working to benchmark its investment climate against leading global markets. As you know, that the regulatory and legislative environment, especially in terms of the leading companies, played a critical role as a factor in influencing the company's decisions to invest in a host country. The Ministry of Investment have done a lot of studies. One of them about the investors' challenges revealed in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia about the legislative challenges. If you can see in the slide, there are 4 obstacles that we discussed with our colleagues and we did with the multinational companies and all the investors within the Kingdom, with the aim of easing the doing of business, the cost of doing business, and minimize the risk of doing business, also broaden the market opportunities for all the investors within the kingdom. This survey discussed all the obstacles, include complex bureaucracy processes, unclear investment regulations, and also the legal uncertainties. Addressing these issues is crucial for ensuring that Saudi Arabia remains a competitive global investment hub. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia has endeavored to improve many laws within the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. We actually have undertaken significant reforms to streamline the investment processes and enhance transparency. The key legislative measures focuses on reducing regulatory complexity to simplify the investment for the investors, ensuring transparent access to investment-related laws and data, also minimizing the state intervention in competitive private sector industries. These efforts align with global best practices in investment facilitation. What we have done with major investment and trade laws and regulations, the recent legal reforms cover multiple aspects of investment, including companies law, including commercial registration law, the trade names law, and also different laws within the kingdom. We are continuing to enhance the legislative framework to attract global capital. MISA has played an instrumental role in shaping investment related to regulations. Collaboration with various regulatory bodies ensures that new laws meet the investors' needs. The introduction of platforms like Istitla' enhances also the stakeholders' engagement in regulatory reforms. As the Ministry of Commerce, Dr. Majid Al-Qasabi said today, there are more than 1,200 regulatory instruments has come to Istitla', and we discussed all of them with the investors to create an attractive environment for FDI within the kingdom. Also, the civil transaction law, which standardized the contractual obligations, the bankruptcy law, and the mining investment law. All these laws helps us to get the kingdom in a better way for attracting the investment to the kingdom. The Ministry of Investment has worked a lot in many initiatives. The National Investment Strategy, it has 14 initiatives. Those initiatives actually discussing more than 100 issues and addressing a lot of obstacles facing the investment environment. I will talk about 5 of them which are related directly to the legal environment of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. The strategy is based on 4 strategic objectives. This strategy also contains different initiatives like translating the draft legislations into English, also developing a mechanism to protect investors from the impact of any legislative amendments, developing a mechanism to measure the impact of legislation on the investment environment, also establishing specialized investment courts, which is one of the initiatives that we are working within the kingdom to establish it. The last but not the least, establishing an arbitration center in the special economic zones in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. These initiatives has made a lot of significant reforms within the kingdom. So we are trying with our partners to help the kingdom doing these initiatives in the near future. The legislative and procedural reforms has actually succeeded through different procedures and reforms within the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. By proposing different amendments and improvement, we contribute to the attractiveness and competitiveness of the investment environment. The commercial registry system is the gateway to economic business in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, as the first step to start the doing business within the kingdom, as a major independent requirement in itself. We actually started to reform the endowments draft law, the special economic zones legislations. As you know, the Crown Prince has announced 5 special economic zones in the kingdom, and we have now 9 special economic new zones in the pipeline. The non-Saudi property ownership draft law also, we worked in this law and is going to be announced soon. Addressing investors' challenges, the ministry has worked with a lot of people to minimize any challenges and obstacles facing the real estate and tourism sector. Also, we developed the governance of the policies and legislation procedures. We work with the center of government, we work with different ministries to do a comprehensive review of all change all chains of legislative changes within the kingdom and consideration of the amendments in all the legislations based on the decision 713. The development of policies within the kingdom has impacted also the assessment tools and also the international practices in legislative impact measurement within the legislations of the kingdom. Also developing a mechanism for measuring all the legislations within the government agencies in cooperation with relevant bodies. We are trying to strengthen our legal protection tools for investment by different initiatives, by reviewing also the governance of special economic zones and the regional headquarter program for synergies with the public economy system. Also, we are doing different comprehensive reviews of the restrictions on foreign investment to engage all the investors and all the economic activities in Saudi Arabia. I will introduce to you the new investment law. We actually changed this law from a foreign investment law to an investment law. So this new initiative has created a lot in terms of the equality between the foreign and local investors in the kingdom. We are trying to align with the investment principles and investment policies in the kingdom. We are trying to make the Saudi Arabia as an environment of equal treatment amongst investors. We will try also to ensure the protection of investment and the investor's right, enhancing the investment sustainability in the kingdom, establishing also clear and transparent procedures, addressing all the investors' grievances and complaints, and transferring the knowledge and technology in the Saudi market. We try to update all the legal framework based on the vision of 2030, based on the national investment strategy, also the free trade agreements and investment treaties. We have now in the kingdom 26 BITs within the kingdom. Also, we are opening now 70 countries for negotiation for the BITs to come for the investors and to give them a protection tool for investing in the kingdom. Also, any legal obstacles faced by the business community, we work with them to help them pass all these obstacles within the investment environment. We're aligning also with the global best practices and international legislative principles. The principles and characteristics of the new law, we are trying to ensure and promote the investor's rights, the fair competition, effectiveness of dispute resolution means, streamlining also the procedures and enhancement of investment governance. We try also to use the transparency and clarity of our laws, unleashing regulatory restrictions, ensuring equal treatment between the domestic and foreign investors, and grant the investment incentives to all the investors based on the sector they are doing the investment in. The investment law stipulates exactly about the dispute resolution and said in the law that the investors who is a party to any dispute, including dispute with the competent authorities within the kingdom, may resort to the competent court unless the parties to the dispute agree otherwise. In the second paragraph, the investors may agree to resolve their disputes through alternative dispute resolutions methods, include arbitration, mediation, and conciliation. I would say that the investment, a new law and regulations improve the investment environment. I will talk about three main topics. The investors registration. It's now one-time registration, covering all the investor activities. The registration also eliminates the previous licenses, and now we move from a license to a registration. More than 80% of the activities are available for foreign investors. We are simplifying the registration procedures, developing the annual update mechanism instead of renewing the license. The second point is about ensuring and promoting investors' rights. We promote the principle of equal interaction between domestic and foreign investors. We promote the principle of fair and equitable treatment. The regulation also It talks also about the indirect confiscation, the promotion of the principles of free transfer of funds. We also detailed the procedures of the mechanism for dealing with investors' complaint. We provide a detailed registration mechanism and apply for approval for excluded activities, developing the governance to grant investment incentives. We are shifting towards legislative excellence. The legislative excellence strategy highlights the strategy in many ways. We are doing many initiatives in the consistency of legislations and regulatory tools, alignment between policies and legislations, developing the legislative procedures and enhancing the legislative quality, upgrading also the legislative capacity of the Saudi people. We also doing a project of regulatory governance assessment. We work with OECD, with the World Bank Group, with different international organizations to do a governance for our regulatory framework. The regulatory governance involves the design, implementation, and enforcement of regulations to achieve social goals. These are the benefits of effective regulatory governance. We are looking for economic growth and innovation. We are looking for social welfare and environmental protection, enhancement of government effectiveness, and improved our market functioning. The driving prosperity through regulatory governance is an effective in the regulatory governance which creates high quality environment, making nations enjoyable and prosperous to live, work, and do business in Saudi Arabia. الزملاء الكرام، خلال هذا العرض حاولنا نستعرض بشكل واضح تماماً حالة التحول الذي تعمل عليه وزارة الاستثمار بالتعاون مع كافة الوزارات ذات العلاقة. هذا التحول جعلنا كوزارة ليست وزارة قطاعية أن تقوم هذه الوزارة بأدوار مختلفة. هذه الأدوار هي الدخول بشكل كبير جداً في مراجعة كافة التشريعات ذات العلاقة بالمنظومة الاستثمارية على مستوى المملكة، بحكم أن الوزارة معنية بتطوير البيئة الاستثمارية، بحماية المستثمرين على كل الأصعدة، بتسهيل حياة المستثمر حتى الحياة الاجتماعية والتعليمية. نحن اليوم نتداخل مع كثير من الوزارات، نتعامل مع كثير من الجهات برؤية مختلفة لضمان أن تكون الاستراتيجية الوطنية للاستثمار محققة للغاية الرئيسية من جعل المملكة العربية السعودية كموطن رئيسي ووجهة استثمارية رائدة لكل المستثمرين. هذا الجانب ساعدنا حقيقة في العمل على كثير من المعايير وفي استلهام عدد من المؤشرات لتحسين البيئة التشريعية في المملكة، للعمل مع الزملاء في استراتيجية التميز التشريعي، للعمل على تطوير البيئة التنظيمية للمملكة برؤى مختلفة وبمصادر متنوعة من المعرفة لجعل هذه المنظومة منظومة متكاملة. منظومة القضاء نتعامل معها بشكل متوازي تماما لضمان أن تكون المنظومة القضائية أيضا منظومة ناجزة ومحققة. منظومة الوسائل البديلة للمنازعات نتعاون مع المركز وغيره من المراكز الأخرى ومع المنظمات الدولية أيضا لجعل المملكة أيضا حاضنة لغالبية المراكز الدولية المهتمة بحل النزاعات والعمل عليها بشكل كبير جدا لضمان جعل المملكة بيئة جاذبة لكثير من المنظومات الاستثمارية على كل المستويات وعلى كل الأصعدة. كل هذا العمل الذي نعمل عليه نجعل دائما في أذهاننا رؤية واضحة تماما في تسهيل البيئة الاستثمارية، الاستثمار فيها، وأيضا تخفيف كل العوائق الاستثمارية بحكم أن الاستراتيجية الوطنية للاستثمار نصت بشكل واضح تماما على إزالة العوائق المالية ومعالجة كافة التحديات التي تواجه المستثمرين. نسعى بشكل كبير جدا إلى مراعاة أن تكون الأنظمة الجديدة واللوائح الجديدة التي يتم العمل عليها من قبل الكثير من الجهات في المملكة أن تكون فعلا تشريعات تنافسية، أن تستفيد من كافة التجارب الدولية النوعية في صناعة المنظومة الاستثمارية بشكل أكثر احترافية، وأيضا التعاون مع الجميع في طرح رؤى مختلفة لتطوير هذه المنظومة الاستثمارية، ومراعاة أن تكون هذه المنظومة فعلا محفزة وضامنة لتحقيق التطلعات الكبيرة لقيادة هذا البلد. Ladies and gentlemen, Saudi Arabia is not just adapting to global investment trends, it's actively shaping them. The introduction of the new investment law, improvement in dispute resolution mechanisms, and ongoing regulatory reforms reflect the Kingdom's commitment to fostering a world-class investment environment. These legal advancements are more than just policies. They are strategic enablers that drive economic diversification, enhance investor confidence, and ensure fair market conditions. By aligning with international best practices and continuously refining its legislative framework, Saudi Arabia is positioning itself as a dynamic and secure investment destination. As we move forward, collaboration between the government, private sector, and international stakeholders will be key in ensuring that these reforms translate into these changes and bring the economic growth to the Kingdom. We encourage you to engage, explore the opportunities these changes bring, and be part of this transformative journey. Thank you for your time. شكرا جزيلا للجميع والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.